comes out, when
Yes.
you go to the in-home, there's going to be a director's roundtable.
Oh, good.
And you have been probably in more movies than most ever. Can you talk about the different directors and how they've affected
Of course.
your films and your work?
A decade later, having known his work long before that, Jon Favreau and I are kind of like, I don't know, I almost feel like we're guys who were co-professors at the weirdest school that's ever existed. And so we have this amazing history with each other, and I also just am a huge supporter of him as a writer, director, and actor and all that stuff, too. And Shane Black basically wrote and directed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which was my calling card film to Favreau to have him say to Marvel, "Look at him in this film. He looks, everything's going great. Look, he's an action guy." And Shane is just a really special individual. Joss was the man for the job to be able to take all of those disparate things and somehow create a new formula, which is exceptional. And I would say that I could not imagine any person, let alone several persons, besides the Russos, for both Civil War, Winter Soldier, in reverse order, and now Infinity War and beyond. It's just something about their disposition and their creative passion that every time the baton gets passed, it's a little bit more complicated to run with. But there's also hidden pleasures in it, and there's secret buttons that do things that you didn't expect that were installed by the previous people. So, all of these directors have kind of built on this. It's like a talking stick, and ultimately they are it's a director's medium. So ultimately the directors are, when all is said and done, responsible for the outcome.
You mentioned that nobody had heard about a universe, a cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Also in that, the tones of films change with all those directors.
Yes.
How's that been for you playing as an actor?
It's much better than everybody agreeing on a tone and then pretending that you can keep replicating that and not bore your audience stiff. I mean, most of this stuff has been done out of pure creative survival instinct. So, and if I've learned one thing along the way now, it's that the audiences are predictably unpredictable, but they tend to organize around certain lines, and they want to organize at higher levels. And just as a spectator, I want to feel like there's an evolution in my own experience as just a viewer. So I think that Marvel got that pretty early on, and it's hard enough doing one movie quote unquote correctly, but the fact that they're about to cross the threshold into the low double digits here, 18, 19, 20, 20. It's just, it really is commendable.
And there's going to be 2 to 3 minutes of gag reel that'll be on
Oh,
disc.
good.
So no one's seen the film, no one's seen the gag reel, no one's seen anything.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us a moment that you think might be on the gag reel from set?
Oh my God. Well, anytime Pratt's around. Then again, I say that the standout nonsense player lately has been Hemsworth. And also just the journey that Thor goes on in Infinity War and beyond is, to me, it's just amazing, and he's all that. So always loved the Guardians. Any time that I did anything with Rudd, I think that's probably going to play pretty well. If there's ever a chance that Paltrow and Favreau happen to be within 100 miles of each other, that always works. It could damn well be anything.
And as the Godfather,
yes.
Do you have a go-to must-have Marvel Cinematic Universe film of all the 18 and 19 that this is now?
Wow. Well, I'm a bit of an Origins guy, so I would say watch the first in any series, because that's really the one where it's like a newborn foal. It's a little shaky on the legs, and then you're like, how is it walking so quick? So yeah, the first of any of them.
And to wrap up, last question. We've heard great things over the last day or two about off-sets lunches and parties and hosts by Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
How? Tell us a little bit about
All right,
that.
I used to call myself the head of the acting department. Now I was given the name the Godfather, or the Bob Father. I've heard that said too. But now, what I am is a very comfortable and lazy event coordinator. That's essentially what I do now. So, bar mitzvahs, parties, weddings, after parties, and certainly production lunches. That's something that I special in.
Goat was served. There was a goat roast.
There was. Where did you hear this? Yeah, and I'm trying to think why. Oh, because the chef said, you know what, sometimes you're in Georgia. She said, you know, I have a backyard and I could probably roast a whole pig, but it's a whole thing. I got to dig a hole. And I was like, jeez. I was like, well, we're going to need that. And then it just seemed a little less brutal, but even stranger that there was a cloven-hoofed animal brought to her. It got very medieval that day. I'll tell you that much. And I'm told the goat's name was known. The goat had a pretty nice life before it was ended prematurely for our needs. Look, the whole world should be heading towards being vegetarian, but until then, like, you know, don't give me any guff. Once the thing's already been offed, I mean, if I got offed, I would rather be served while I still tasted good.